Today we're going to talk about how to add a magnetic bed to your Ender 3. Now most of you may have one if you have the modern ones, but the older ones that you get used on like eBay that need some rehabilitation will need them. So I'm going to show you the technique that I use to put this on. Now it's two pieces obviously. And one of the tricks that I've learned is that you want to get your magnetic field on these correct. So if you place it this way, it may slide around on you. This way it'll be solid. So one of the tricks you can do is you can actually write on it with your marker to let it know that this is the Y direction. This may wipe off in a second when we actually do it. But before we start, what we want to do is want to see if it matches up to the bed. And we're going to have to use a technique called wet set, which means that we're going to make the surface wet and possibly this surface as well before we place it on there. So to do that, we're going to prep it with some painter's tape because we want to protect the motherboard in case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place tape over this just to shield it from any liquid that may fall. So that'll take care of that. You could do the edge if you want as well, but let me show you how to do this now because there's going to be a sticky tape that we're going to have to remove in a second. So I'm going to place this down here and I'm going to spray this surface and I'm going to basically just clean it first of anything that might be on it. Usually when you do a replacement, you'll see this as well. So I'm just going to clean this surface off. And you can use Windex for this or alcohol. I prefer Windex. So I'll grab that in just a second. Now that that's nice and clean. So let's grab the Windex real quick. Okay, so I'm going to spray this now with Windex. Now that it's hopefully dry. And the reason I'm doing this is so that we can do the wet set. So we're just going to make the surface as wet as possible. And that way it'll allow us to adjust the actual setup here. And then we'll wick this out with a credit card of some type. So I'm going to remove the sticky surface here. Once I have that surface off, I'm going to double check my alignment and I'm going to place this on the sticky surface hopefully correctly. Now if you get it wrong it's okay because it's a little off, it won't be a big deal. But currently I'm going to wet the back side of this just to make this easier. So I'm going to spray obviously off camera because this is a messy operation. There we go. So let's flip this over and hopefully this will be a little bit easier to work with. It's going to be somewhat sticky. And I'm still off. So let's see if we can do it like so. It's usually easier with Kapton tape. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now we're going to have to get the liquid out. So we're going to take a credit card of some type. And we're just going to wick out the actual liquid all the way around it. You'll see it come out the actual edges. And this will then be as flat as humanly possible, hopefully. But when you place the other surface on it, it will obviously help a great deal. So that looks like we're almost there. You'll see that the surface will become flat, hopefully. And there won't be any bubbles as you wick this out. But you can always heat it up as well. But this should, in theory, be somewhat flat when you're done. I can see there's some bubbles still in here that I'm trying to work out. But it's basically pretty good. There's one right there. I'm trying to rub it out with my finger just to see if I can get it out. But once you heat this, this should take care of it. There we go. So the process is pretty easy. It's just a little bit of work to get it just right. There we go. So as you can see now, the surface is mostly flat. Obviously, you can see there's a slight bubble right here. We can work that out like so. There it goes. Just sprayed out like a zit. So there's still a bubble there that we can see in the reflection. See if I can work it out with my thumb. Okay, there's a little liquid coming out. But once you place the other surface on this, it will take care of most of the issues. There it goes. So, as you can see, the surface is starting to get very flat. Wet setting is a little bit of a joy. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. We got a couple more bubbles.